Alright, have you ever wondered why India is so diverse physically? Be the snow-capped mountains of Himalayas in the north and the fertile plains, or for that the matter the ancient plateaus, the sun-scorched desert, the coastal plains and the majestic islands. All in one country, India has such a diverse physical features. Well, the reason is attributed to the geological nature of our country. If you see any country, geology will shape the physical feature, the rock system, and the undermine structure, the geological process. The endogenic and the exogenic process, nothing but something like plate tectonic, have helped to shape the diverse physical feature of our country. Based on all these things, the India physical features are divided into some parts. The first one is the northern mountains of Himalayas. The second one is the plain of central North India. The third one is the ancient peninsular plateaus. And the fourth one is hill range. Fifth one is coastal plains and the island. And also some books has recognized the Thar desert as a separate one. Now let us understand all the physical features in just one shorts or a video. Okay, let's start with the North Himalayas. That is stretching almost around 2400 kilometers from west to east. If you see the origin of the Himalayas, it is quite a fascinating story. Well, the India which we know millions of years ago is not a part where it is now, right? It is a part of the ancient land called Gondwana land. It got separated into many blocks. So at that time the one block called Indian part start moving toward north because of the force called as plate tectonic. As it start moving toward north, you can see it collide with the Eurasian plate which lead to the majestic Himalayas. So I can say that the Himalaya is the product of the fold mountains. And these fold mountain did not occur at one go, rather they occurred in multiple phases. This is the reason why we have variety of mountain range, be like the Karakoram range in the north, or for that the matter, that is why we call it as trans Himalayas. The wall like structure is called greater Himalayas as we represent in this. And down south of the greater Himalayas we have lesser Himalayas and the Sivalik. These four parallel mountain ranges, that is what constitute the Himalayas. Now let us understand all the Himalayas range elaborately. If you see the Trans Himalayas represent the Jaskar range, Ladakh range, Kailasa range, and the fourth one is Karakoram range. Remember the northernmost range of the India's mountain is Karakoram range, where we find the highest point of the India K2. K2 have 8611 meter in height, that is currently present in Pak occupied Kashmir. And also this Trans Himalayas stretches around 1000 kilometers in east to west direction, which tell about its vastness. And these Trans Himalayas, their average elevation is around 3000 meter height above the mean sea level, which is the high altitude region of India. So moving forward, next we have the Greater Himalayas, which are the one continuous chain of Himalayas stretching from west toward the east. These are like a one single wall structure which an elevation almost 6100 meter in height. Here you can see these are the product of the marine sediment of the Tethys Sea which have been uplifted, right? And one unique thing is about the Great Himalaya is the vast wall-like structure have some edge at the end, which we called it as syntaxial band. These syntaxial band are represented by the Namcha Barwa in the east rather than the Nanga Parvat in the west. Now moving forward, because of this high altitude, it has the variety of the glaciers like glaciers of Gangotri and the glacier of the Yamunotri. Yamunotri feed the river Ganga and Yamuna. So now we move to next range of Himalaya, that is Lesser Himalayas, middle or the Lesser Himalayas. Between the Sivalik in the south and the Great Himalayas in the north, we have the Lesser Himalayas. Now have you ever been to be a various hill resorts like Simla, Masuri, Raniket, Nainital, Darjeeling, and all these hill stations are located in this hill range. Please understand this point that will help you to determine the altitude of this region. These hill resorts are the product of the altitude of this hill range, which is around 3500 to 4500 meter, which is exactly apt for us, right? And the Sivalik, which we will discuss further, has an altitude of just around 1000 meter, which is not sufficient for temperature to be reducing. That is the reason why all the hill stations are located here only. And in general, all the Himalayas range are steep southern slope and the gentle northern slope. Because of this, they are covered with vegetation in the south, that is toward India, and there is usually less vegetation toward the Chinese side. So now moving forward, these lesser Himalayas and middle Himalayas are represented by multiple names across the countries and the states as well, like Pir Panjal range in Jammu and Kashmir region, Dholadar range in Himachal Pradesh, Masuri and Nag Tibba in Uttarakhand, and Mahabharata range in Nepal, all along the parallel to the greater mountain of the northern part. Moving forward, the last range, that what we called it as outer Himalayas. These outer Himalayas are known by the multiple hill ranges like Jammu Hills in Jammu region, the Dafla, Abor, Mismi Hill in Arunachal Pradesh in northeast region, Churiya Ghat, Dhang range in other part of our continent. Look, if we see the Sivalik, they are known as the wonderful feature as dunes. So what are the dunes? These are nothing but the accumulation of the sediment. You know that all the four mountain range are not formed at one go. They occur in multiple phases. After the lesser Himalayas, the river start moving from Himalayas into the plain. The topography is not yet completely in term of its development. The evolution or the formation of the last range of Sivalik has obstructed the flow of the rivers, which has led to accumulate all of these sediments. And that to catch, you can see the dunes, the gravels which are coming up from the Himalayas river, and they are obstructed by the formation of the Sivalik. These are what we call it as present time, that is Dhoradun, Kotili dunes. These are very fertile, which can be used for the agriculture. So here have you know that the Dehradun is a flat land in a majestic Himalayas. Why? It is because of this sediment, right? So here we read almost around 7 hill ranges. So let arrange all the hill ranges from northern part of our India to southern part of our India, right? So the first and the northernmost is Karakoram, then Ladakh range, then Jaskar, then Great Himalayas range, and then Pir Panjal, Dholadar range, and Sivalik range is the southernmost. Now just remember that Mount Kailasa range, that is come under in the Ladakh range, that is located near the Mansarovar lake and the Rakshasa Tal. And in lesser Himalayas we have Pir Panjal range and the Dholadar range. Now moving forward with the significance of Himalayas, how these Himalayas are very significant to us. They are not just a great barrier acting as a major defense corridor segregating the Chinese side and the Indian side, but they are also a climatic barrier. They are also a cultural barrier as well. They act as a major barrier for the wind system that come from the Siberian region, which is called as the Siberian air mass. They protect India from the Siberian air mass entering into India. They also block the monsoonal wind, which lead to tremendous amount of rainfall in the foothills of Himalayas. And these Himalayas are also known for the source of majestic river and for the matter of wonderful grassland, which are found at the high altitude, which we call it as alpine meadows, which these are nothing but the temperate grassland. They are located at the height of almost around 3000 to 4000 meter in height. And these are the places where we go for the tourism for seeking attentions. And I think you know the places like Gulmarg and Pahalgam. These are the temperate grassland which we go. These are very crucial to be in term of the tourism for that matter and the water resources of the Himalayas. So these are what we called it as alpine meadows. Now after the significance of Himalayas, moving forward, the Himalayas which we have their extension in northeast, which we called it as the Eastern Hill or the Purvanchal range. As you can see in the map, Mismi Hills are the Shivalik Hills where on the east boundaries with the Myanmar. You can see Patkabum, Naga Hills, Mizo Hills, Manipur Hills located which are acting as a boundary between the India and Myanmar. It is very simple. If you remember the Patkai boom, it will be easier for us to remember. Other things like Naga, Manipur Hill and Mizo Hills with respect to their state, they are what we called it as Eastern Himalayas. Now remember the Gharo Khasi Jaintia which you have been seen here, they are the part of the peninsular India. And when we compare with the elevation of the Great Himalayas and the Lesser Himalayas, these eastern Himalayas are having an altitude around 1500 meter among similar to the Shivalik Hills ranges. Now until we have discussed the hill ranges from north to south, now we discuss west to east. These are divided by the rivers, say mountains are the Himalayas which are difference between Indus and the Satluj river are what we called it as Punjab Himalayas or the Kashmir Himalayas. And between the Satluj and the Kali river is what we called it as the Kumuh Himalayas represented in Uttarakhand. And after between the Kali and the Tista river is Nepal Himalayas, and between Tista and Brahmaputra river is what we call it as Assam Himalayas. So which are divided from the west to east. So this is all about the India Physiographic division with respect to the Himalayas. Thank you.